It's football, and it's happening this weekend. Kentucky isn't playing, but there's an awesome college football slate on the way for Week 7, and we're here to lay it all out on the Pigskin Preview presented by our good friends at BetMGM, Nick Roush and Adam Luckett. Here to serve up your wagering guide for what should be a spectacular weekend of college football. Mr. Luckett, how fired up are you to watch some ball this Saturday?
Looking forward to it, Nick. This is we get the double bye, but it feels a little weird this year, right? Like it feels like almost we had back-to-back bye weeks. So we've got 7 consecutive weeks of Kentucky Wildcat football after this. Couple road trips. Most games at home. We've got a few late nights in the Kroger Field press box.
Oh, yeah.
Ahead of us. So I'm looking forward to just, relaxing a little bit on a Saturday. It's weird because we don't have to work on Saturday, me and you. Day off.
Yeah.
It's going to feel weird. Typically, we would work the bye week Saturday, but because of madness, the basketball crew's taking over. So we'll get a little day off before Blog Boys on Sunday. So it's going to be unique in that. And, of course, Luckett tradition, we have a wedding we'll be attending on the bye week. I feel like it's happened every year I'm in this job. So I get a little football in the noon 3:30 slate, then a wedding at night, and then be sweating out some bets at the reception. Wouldn't have it any other way on a fall Saturday.
I mean, the night slate too is looking pretty sharp because we've got a bunch of big games in the SEC on Saturday night. Florida at A&M could be sneaky good ball game. That line is currently at, I'm scrolling through BetMGM. Texas A&M 7.5 point favorite. The SEC Network special is in Baton Rouge, where the Tigers are 9.5 point favorites over the Gamecocks. And we've got the South's oldest rivalry between Georgia and Auburn. Georgia's a 3.5 point favorite on the road. Look at it.
Big night for the multi-view. Kansas, Texas Tech, Nick, is kind of an important Big 12 game.
Yeah.
On at Fox. Did you say Michigan, USC? I don't know if you
didn't say that game either. Sold out Coliseum.
Yeah,
Matt Leinart and Reggie Bush are back in LA.
That's another one. And then there's an after dark game we'll get to later.
Yeah.
But yeah, loaded. Seems like they're loading up these late slates. And, if I was at home watching TV, what would be on the big screen? It would be Iowa, Wisconsin, because that's how I roll. So don't forget about that one either. But, yeah, this 7 o'clock p.m. plus window is pretty fun. And then I think we have some, fun 3:30 matchups that could leak into that as well.
I wanted to ask you quickly about that Georgia-Auburn game, though. Doesn't 3.5 smell a little fishy? Doesn't it feel like Georgia's a much superior football team? I mean, am I missing something here?
Yeah, I think you look at Georgia. They how impressive have they been to this point? The record, but they've won one loss. It's to Alabama. That loss is, I would say, improving, but they definitely don't look like the Georgia of old. I think Auburn's better than their record. Now they have to go improve it because I thought I said this all last year.
Yeah,
losing games. This game was just hard to get a read on. Hugh Freeze is great as a dog. Georgia's been great in this series. But they've been bad as a favorite. We kind of talked about that last week. And so it's just, who do you trust more? Georgia's pass defense is so bad. That's ultimately why that game is not on my card. I was going to lay the points with Georgia, but their pass defense is so bad. It feels like maybe Auburn can, get right. We saw Kentucky's passing game that was really struggling, have some success against Georgia. So, maybe this is the get right game for Auburn's passing game. Fascinating game. Like Hugh Freeze has to have it.
Yeah.
Georgia's in kind of a difficult situation for the playoff bid if they lose, because that would be 2 losses. So interesting game on the Plains. A lot at stake. One fan base is going to be pretty upset if they lose that game.
It's not my favorite SEC game of the week. That actually is the 11 Central Time local kickoff when Alabama travels to Como to take on Missouri. I know that a lot of people are going to be paying attention to Red River in the afternoon slate, but I love this matchup. I think it's the two best teams playing. Maybe not necessarily there's going to be some close games elsewhere, but I think they're the two best teams playing. And at least in the SEC. It kind of feels undery to me because I think both teams have shown that they can win methodically, and I think Missouri we've seen this game with Drink before, where Bama or Georgia comes to town and they don't stand a chance, but the other team's sweating late in the fourth quarter. They cover but don't win. It's a little bit different now because Missouri's better. And I also just wonder like how explosive Alabama can get with Ryan Williams and Ty Simpson at quarterback. And you also wonder like the cumulative effect of 3 big games in a row, with 2 of those being on the road. So like I'm just fascinated by what's going to unfold in this game. I couldn't get to a side, but I can't wait to watch it, man. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, I want no part of this game for a lot of reasons you just mentioned. But I look at it kind of more of, I think it's going to be an over game. Like, I think it's first one to maybe 31, 34 points, probably going to win this one. Missouri's been scoring. Bama's run defense is iffy. I think Ahmad Hardy could have a big game, but Ty Simpson is lighting people up right now. And I see no reason to think he won't light up this Missouri secondary. Specifically, if Missouri gets a lead early in this game, I suspect Bama will come storming back.
Yeah.
I think both teams, the total's 51. I think both teams can definitely get to 24. And then, it's just a winner getting to 28.
Yeah, and for me, it's more of just, watching the way that they just milk the clock against South Carolina with Ahmad Hardy. They can be really methodical with him. And then the part that I do like about Bama is, I can't think. Jam
Miller, yeah.
Yeah, the last 2 games have shown me, oh, okay, Alabama can run the football some. So I think it'd almost be an opposite effect too, where if Alabama gets a lead, you kind of want to possess the ball and force Prabula to throw it to beat you instead of just turning around and hand the ball off to Hardy, which is why like really any outcome wouldn't surprise me. And that's why I'm so excited to watch it. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, I mean, this Missouri offense just been going really all year. The South Carolina game, they really ruined a bunch of scoring opportunities, missed field goals in that game. They were down big against Kansas, came storming back.
Yeah,
they've got weapons at receiver. Obviously, Kevin Coleman Jr. Stands out there. And then the 2 backs they got not only are efficient, but are big playbacks. They can rip one off for 50, and Prabula's got legs that he can use in the run game. So, yeah, I mean, Drinkowitz got it cooking up there right now.
Cooking with grease. Mr. Luckett, what's more likely? Actually, no. One more I wanted to point out one more SEC thing before we get to the Big Ten real quick. Did you see the line movement in Red River?
It went from what Texas was favored to Oklahoma's got laying points.
And I pulled these from one of the gambling sites, so I hope it's not incorrect. Like it wasn't just an early spread, because some places they'll give out the early numbers before the last Saturday games. See it, Oklahoma opened at 11.5, and it's down to Oklahoma plus 1.5. And then the total dropped from 56.5 to 43.5.
Now, Texas was favored by a sizable margin at some point, and then everything happened. So I guess it would depend where you got it from. That might have been the line with Mateer.
Texas
is
still
crazy movement. Still, he's not. Yeah, I wouldn't say he should be worth 10 points.
Yeah. Right.
If I played anything, go ahead.
I was just to say that one just feels like an under to me.
Yeah, if you got the under price when it was 50, I would feel golden.
Right.
But now what's 43, 42?
Yeah.
It's too low because that's a defensive score and you're toast.
And
which
that's
is very
much
likely in this game. That might be what I would bet. Either team to score a defensive touchdown if I could find odds on that. Nick, this feels like one of those low-scoring SEC games we've seen in the past where really the first offense to make a big mistake kind of loses the game. Oklahoma's got the better defense, but Michael Hawkins struggled last year when he played. I like the spot for Texas. They have to have it. So if I had to lean, I would probably lay the points with the Horns. or take the points with the Horns, or even play the money line with the Horns. But I really want no part of this. This series is weird too. Like, blowouts come when you don't expect it. Upsets come when you don't expect it. It can get a little wacky there in the Cotton Bowl. And it always feels like it's 1,000 degrees whenever I watch that game. I haven't checked the weather for it this weekend, but
it feels great up here in the Commonwealth. I'm happy to be rocking quarter zip now. Fall finally arrived. Weird that we're already 2 bye weeks in, and fall is just now getting here. Fall weather. Real quick, is it more likely we see good Indiana or the Indiana that just kind of gets manhandled like they did every time they played a premier opponent a year ago?
Yeah, as someone who bet Indiana in both of those games, I'm not betting this one. bet them against Ohio State, bet them against Notre Dame. Neither worked out too well for me. That's the interesting part. I think if you're going to bet this game, Nick, I think you have to lay the points with Oregon. But when you start, if you're data driven at all and you start looking at numbers, that can be a little hard to do because it's like these teams are even across the board. Why am I not taking the possession and change here?
It's going to be a fascinating matchup because that Illinois game, I know we saw Illinois get co-cocked, but to win a game on the road, that was something Indiana hadn't done, right? Like all of the way the schedule set up for them last year, they really got to enjoy the spoils of war at home. For them to come back at Illinois and Iowa, not Illinois, the Iowa game 2 weeks ago, like that. Kinnick Stadium, not an easy place to win. That showed a lot of grit that I don't think they previously. I didn't know if they could handle it. So at least I feel like if Oregon does land an early blow, I don't think the wheels will start spinning quite like they did at Notre Dame in the playoff last year.
The total's 55.5. Indiana last year, Nick, in these big games against Ohio State and Notre Dame, the scores were 38-15 and 27-17. So a 44 and then a 53. Like, to me, the under is probably the play there. Indiana's defense has actually been mostly game in these moments. In Ohio State, if I remember, they got most of their late, and Caleb Downs had a punt return touchdown.
Yeah.
Kind of opened it up. And then Notre Dame, they had 2 busts really in this game. What's his name? Jeremiah Love went 99 yards.
Yep.
And then Caleb Downs had the punt return. So to me, I kind of look at, I think the under. Like, I could see, even if Indiana gets blown out, I think the under is a safe bet. I don't see this being like a 42-20.
No. Although Oregon, well, and hell, we just saw Oregon playing a low-scoring affair too in a big game setting, and I know it was different. It was away from home, but
and as someone who's bet against Oregon at home, I had a lot of success doing that. Seems like they just boat race teams when I've taken some of these big numbers, but yeah, that's a fascinating game. I think it's probably going to play out similar to those last two, where it's just like Indiana's game, they're in it, they just don't have. I think when you watch those 2 games, to me, it was like, well, Indiana just doesn't have. This is a different level of talent. This is talent with good coaching, right? in the simplest form possible.
Yeah.
Where Indiana's really good coaching with good talent, but not great talent. And that was a differentiator, I thought, when I watched those 2 games last year against Ohio State and Notre Dame.
You mentioned it earlier, but out at LA Coliseum, the folks are fired up. 7:30 kickoff on NBC. Michigan is a 2.5-point dog on the road at USC. It feels like a huge spot for Lincoln Riley. Can the true freshman get it done, or is this the time for Lincoln Riley to tell the haters to shut up?
Unranked team is laying points against a ranked team. That should tell you something.
Love it.
I like USC in this matchup. True freshman quarterback, 3rd road start, so he's been here before. But the West Coast trip, Nick, like we talked about, and I believe Scott Docterman, I was reading his thing today over The Athletic. I think he had a stat there. I believe they were like Michigan's like 1-7, 1-8 in their last West Coast games, like whatever it is. Typically don't play well. Big spot for USC. Recently had that tough loss to Illinois. USC is going to score points in this game. They're a wagon on offense right now. Mekhi Lemon, their receiver, has been awesome this year. Jacoby Lane's an awesome receiver. Mayava, I'm not sure how good he is, but he's putting up numbers in this Lincoln Riley offense. They're going to score. I just don't think Michigan keep up. I think Michigan's ground game is going to have a lot of success, but it feels like a game that at some point USC is going to get up 10, and then it's going to be over for Michigan.
Yeah. They don't strike me as a team that can play well from behind whatsoever. So those are some of the big games. They're not the games that we are playing this weekend. We've got a full slate, and when we play with BetMGM, we like to take the deep cuts, right? Because we're trying to make this season legendary. You can make it one for the history books by playing along with BetMGM. BetMGM, they have all of the best bonus tokens. They've got all of the lines, all the bets you want to make is available at BetMGM. And when you sign up, use bonus code ON3. That's ON and the numeral 3. And with that sign-up offer, you can get a $1,500 first bet offer on your first wager. So download the app, sign up using that code ON3, deposit at least $10 and place your first wager on any game. Place $100 on it, and it loses, you get that $100 back. If it wins, you just want $100. So go ahead, sign up today, make this college football season one for the history books. Make it legendary with BetMGM. See BetMGM.com for terms, 21 plus only. U.S. promotional offers are not available in New York, Nevada, Ontario, or Puerto Rico. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or call 1-800-NEXT-STEP, 1-800-327-5050 in Massachusetts, 1-800-BETS-OFF in Iowa, 1-800-981-0023 in Puerto Rico. First bet offer is for new customers only. It's subject to eligibility requirements, and all of those rewards are non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire in 7 days in partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel. Just remember, sign up, BetMGM, use bonus code ON3, and get your $1,500 first bet offer today.
Flacco zone, 7-1, moneyline dog. Just go ahead and put your BetMGM.
He's the Packer killer. That's what they're calling him.
He's the cheese detonator. So go ahead and ride it.
All right, Mr.
Embrace
Luckett.
your Flacco zone. All righty. Big 12, 3:30. TCU, Kansas State, the Purple Bowl. Taking the home dog here. Kansas State plus 1.5. Kansas State's coming off a tough loss last week. To Baylor.
Had a chance to win it.
Game they should have won.
I mean, multiple times had a chance to win it.
Yeah, it's been a disastrous season for them. 2-4, 1-2 in league play. Things are unraveling a little bit, but I like this spot for them. TCU 4-1, 1-1, but hasn't looked great, I would say, the last few weeks. Game totally got away from against Arizona State. They were losing to Colorado at a point, and Colorado kind of let them off the ropes a little bit. I think these two teams, Nick, are very evenly matched. And in this series, Kansas State is 8-2 against the spread in the last 10 meetings. A lot of people remember that when TCU made the national championship game, Kansas State upset them in the Big 12 championship game with Will Howard before he went to Ohio State. I like Kansas State here. A rare occurrence, Chris Kleiman, a home dog at Kansas State in the Little Apple. This hasn't happened since 2022, but in his career there in Manhattan, Kleiman is 6-3 against the spread as a dog. I like Kansas State Purple Cats here this weekend. I'm going to take the points. I think they win outright. They're in Bill Snyder's big old stadium.
I thought about this one because Avery Johnson and Kansas State, they're just a much better team at home. And I know that sounds like, oh, no kidding, Roush, they're always better at home. But when it comes to performing against the spread, I lost too many times trying to bet on them a year ago whenever they would go on the road and were catching some points. They're a different beast at home. I just worry about the cumulative effect of all these losses. And Chris Kleiman's a good coach, but Hoover can go out there spinning a little bit, and all of a sudden Kansas State is spinning. So I couldn't quite get there, even though I do like your line of thinking, Mr. Luckett. For my first pick, I'm going to the Chaos Conference. That would be the Atlantic and Pacific Coastal Conference. My picks, they've been all chaos this year, so I'm trying to find some chaos, and I believe I found it with Boston College getting 14 points. We just saw Clemson beat the crap out of a terrible, inept North Carolina team. Clemson, they got co-cocked, but this feels like a great spot as a home dog to get back. It feels like every time these two teams play, it's at noon on ABC or it's like a Raycom game, and you look up and you're like, wait, hold up.
Is this a red bandana game?
Oh.
We're going to have to find that out.
Yeah.
That's a system play.
Yeah.
Just about.
No, that's SMU, I think it says.
Did they? Okay.
Yeah.
Almost there.
No, yeah. But it just Boston. This feels like the spot for some chaos. Where, like, I think the other side, you can't trust Clemson's offense whatsoever to walk to the window and play that. And then the other part of it too is Boston College has a pretty good passing offense, 37th in EPA. Like, they can get the ball down the field. Mm-hmm. So, like, if you get to 21, I think North Carolina is the only team that this Clemson offense is going to run the score up on. I don't think there was anything they sort of got right in. So I like Boston College as a home dog. And if I'm not mistaken, I had the number pulled up right here. 17-7-1 ATS is a home dog since 2017.
Mm-hmm. They're good in this spot. Clemson's they're right around 500. It's kind of a road favorite in these types of games. To me, honestly, the most shocking result of last week might have been Boston College just getting boat raced by Pitt.
Yeah, that was.
I didn't see that coming. I thought that game was, a close game.
That was with them changing quarterbacks too.
Yeah, they had a true freshman in there. He threw for over 300 yards. Boston College really, their passing game has been good. Everything else has been bad for them as a football team. To this point, they're off to a 1-4 start. But you're betting them after a low point. Typically, this is when teams respond.
Get a big name at home, right? That'll capture their attention.
For Belichick and Bill O'Brien not having great seasons there in the ACC.
No.
Do they play each other? No, they do not play each other.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
That would have been some good content in November. Clemson, they're still, to me, they're hard to get a read on. Like, North Carolina's been so bad, you almost have to throw that game out the window. And they have a big game coming up, I believe, at home next week against SMU. SMU, Duke, Florida State, Louisville stretch coming up for Clemson. So this is like their last get right spot, I'd say, before the schedule toughens. So I don't know. They're just hard to get a read on. I think for you, Nick, you're like looking at Boston College. Can you get to 21 to 28 points?
Right. Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. If they can get to 21, I feel pretty good about it. There were two chaos games that I was considering in the ACC, and the other one, I'm glad you got there, Luckett. I knew one of us would, and you can't quit them, can you?
I just refuse. I'm not going to do it. The old Mike Singletary, can't do it, won't do it. If we should have that on a drop. A drop. The Fighting Hokies of Virginia Tech plus 14.5 at big bad Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech, of course, Nick, having this great season.
Mm-hmm.
Virginia Tech not having a good season.
Nope.
They're going to have a coaching search. They just lost another home game. I believe that's 3 losses at home already this season. So having a terrible year are my Hokies, but I like this spot for them. Georgia Tech has not been good as a favorite under Brent Key, 5-8 against the spread. Road team is 8-2 in the last 10 meetings against the spread in this series. Virginia Tech's got a good run game. Georgia Tech's got an iffy run defense. The biggest weakness on Virginia Tech's team is their pass defense. Georgia Tech doesn't typically light people up in the air. They want to run the football. To me, this feels like a workman-like 31-20 win for the Yellow Jackets. I think Virginia Tech will go in there to Bobby Dodd. They will be competitive and hang around in this football game. And for Georgia Tech, a lot of these games is going to be get out and keep Haynes King healthy.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that'll play out here. This is one of a bunch of games in a row that Georgia Tech should win. But we'll see how they handle all these. They didn't handle the Wake Forest game very well, but I like the Hokies here. That's a lot of points, I think, for this Georgia Tech team to be laying.
I think the reason why I couldn't get all like the reason why I was intrigued by it is it feels like Georgia Tech always like I've seen this script before. They're a big favorite, and then they just kind of like play with their food and then win at the horn. But ultimately, I can't shake the Hokies thing, man. I'm not.
This Georgia Tech schedule is like chef's kiss here. Like, here is their power conference opponents, Nick. Colorado, Clemson, Wake Forest, Virginia Tech, Duke, Syracuse, NC State, Boston College, Pittsburgh. Then they play the Dogs of Georgia there at the end. Like, it feels like we're headed towards 11-0 Georgia Tech versus like 9-2 Georgia for like the biggest game. And I would imagine now they won a national championship. So I don't know if you can say the biggest game in program history, but just this monstrous game that they decided to play in the Falcon Stadium.
Doesn't. Yeah. That makes a lot of sense. For my second pick, I'm trying not to overthink it, and I'm doing something we've done quite a bit here, and that's fade NC State. I'm taking Notre Dame minus the 22.5 over on BetMGM. Notre Dame ranks 6th nationally in explosive plays of 20-plus yards. NC State is 75th in explosive plays allowed. They're scoring 40 points a game, and NC State is 13-20-2 as a road dog under Dave Doran. It just feels like one of those where Notre Dame gets to 49-50. Yeah. I mean, it's
NC State's defense is bad. The worry would be NC State can score to maybe keep it within that number. But I fully expect Notre Dame to win by 3+ possessions.
Yeah. It's just, hey, capitalize in the red zone. I know that game last week against Boise, there was a lot of people who were worried because they fumbled going in on the opening drive. And that's why they only won 28-7. So hopefully maybe some of those mistakes will have them more alert and ready to run up the score when they play the Pack this weekend in South Bend. Mr. Luckett, who you got for your third pick?
You just knew one of us was going to be on this game. 4:15, Jefferson Pilot, SEC Network special. Dave Neal on the call. I'm taking Bobby. Just had to do it. Plus 12.5.
Busting out the neck brace.
At the Big Bad Vols. I think a shootout is coming here, Nick. I haven't checked the weather. I probably should have done that. But I think a shootout is coming. I think the winner here could get close to 50 points, but I think the loser will be more than game to keep it within this number. It's a pull out the stops game, I think, for the Hogs. Like, I think you're going to see Petrino's best effort. Long week to prepare for this one.
Mm-hmm.
This offense is gas. Like, it was gas before then. Like, this offense can go.
And now Petrino's with something to prove.
And they have the better quarterback, in my opinion, in this game. Yeah, I like Arkansas here. I don't know if they'll win, but I think it almost feels like a game where I almost expect Arkansas to get up early. So maybe like first quarter or first half money line would be something to look at. But I like Arkansas here to hang around and really have a chance there in the fourth quarter.
70 degrees and sunny at Neyland Stadium on Saturday afternoon. You can see the scenario where Bobby wins his way to getting the permanent job at Arkansas. Because after 100%. This, they play 3 straight home games. A&M, that's a game they've been snake bit by, a rivalry game. They've just 12 of their last 13 they've lost. And then they've got Auburn and Mississippi State at home. I mean, you could see them being competitive in this game, rattling off 3 straight. Then they go to the bye week, and it's officially Bobby 2.0. So we'll be calling the Hogs, cheering for them. Hell, it'd be great if they got another outright win. Arkansas has won 4 straight in this series. That is crazy.
When does Kentucky play Arkansas again?
26-7.
Is that at home or away?
I think it's away.
Damn. Bobby coming to Kroger Field again would be fun. That would get the natives fired up.
Actually, I'm pulling it up really quickly. So Arkansas is, they 2029 would be.
That's right. I figured that was the case because Kentucky hasn't been there since I think 2012.
Yeah. All right, for my last pick, the After Dark plays have not done well for me, but I've been kind of going off the beaten path. This time we've got a top 25 Arizona State team. They're going to Rice-Eccles Stadium in Salt Lake. Utah, not ranked. They're a 5.5-point favorite against the ranked team. Love playing those. Love Rice-Eccles Stadium at night, which I think they've only lost there at night once in a decade or something like that. Arizona State, 1.5 ATS in their last 6 games against Utah on the road. And Utah's offense, I know we know them as this defensive team, but getting Devin Dampier and that OC from New Mexico, 20th in success rate in the pass, 4th in the rush, number 6 overall. They're going to stay ahead of the chains. Arizona State has, like, if the way these teams are built kind of similarly, but I just think Utah is better at it. They're more consistent at it. So give me the Utes minus 5.5 against Arizona State and the Fighting Kenny Dillihams.
You just gave me some sound reason on why to bet this game, but I know you. And I know you saw that video of Kenny Dillingham spraying water on a football. And I know right then you decided you're betting Utah this weekend. You didn't care what the number was. You were betting Utah.
What?
Hammer down.
What is it with him and his practice annex where they had the one kid running around with the cowbell too, and now he's squirting water bottles at people? I don't get it. I like Kenny Dillingham, but no. Give me the Utes. The running Utes, baby. Let's get back. Let's get right. Let's get some W's this weekend. There's my selections. Boston College, Notre Dame, and Utah. Luckett is rocking with the Hokies as a 2-touchdown dog. Again. All dogs go to heaven. He's got the Hogs and K-State at home. It's going to be a fun weekend. And the Fighting Joe Flacco's of the Cincinnati Bengals get to wash it all down with on Sunday.
And the big 425 window. Can't wait.
Oh, man. It's going to be exciting. Make sure you're getting in all the action with BetMGM. Enjoy your college football Saturdays. I'm taking the Green Wave tonight, too. Little Green Wave at home against the Purple Pirates of East Carolina, minus 6.5. It's going to be a fun one. Fall football is here.
That's a fun game. Excited to watch that one. There's some fun American games. There's the old Rutgers-Washington Big Ten Classic, which we watched last year in Oxford.
Yeah.
Get to watch it again on a Friday night.
So football every day from now until Thanksgiving, because we've got CUSE action back in Conference USA, and then we'll get action in November on Tuesday and Wednesday night. So it's a beautiful time to be a football fan. We're here for it all. Make sure you're getting in on it all with BetMGM. He's Adam Luckett. I'm Nick Roush. Enjoy the college football. We'll see you.